Hey Decoders, welcome back. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Rob. This is a music critic show. We are not music experts, just a couple of buddies from the Midwest with nothing better to do than listen to music and talk about it. Sometimes our discussions get a little crazy, so we decided to record it and share it with you. Every week, we'll bring you our take on music in a way you may or may not have thought about before.
Rob is right. We are not experts. We are approaching this as passionate, albeit amateur music critics. Everything from Sinatra to Slim Shady, Meghan Trainor to Metallica is up for grabs. Nobody is safe.
We just have a perspective that's slightly off base from the rest of the world. But hey, if you think we're wrong, let us know in the comments section. Artists, if we're ridiculously off base, come on the show. Tell us why we're wrong. Let's talk about it. Either way, this is our perspective. Deal with it.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Play it a little too loud in your cubicle, play it a little too loud in traffic, and just plain word of mouth. Let your friends, family, and coworkers know we're here. If you really like what we do here and you want to support us directly, hit us up on patreon.com/lyricsdecoded for special additional content.
We'll do our best to keep things family-friendly, but we make no promises. It may come off the rails from time to time, but we'll do our best to reel it back in.
With no further ado, welcome to Lyrics Decoded.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Lyrics Decoded. I'm Rob.
I'm Kyle.
Today, we are going to decode Somebody That I Used to Know by Gotye.
Yay.
It is performed by Gotye and Kimbra. And I've never heard that before. It was just Gotye. Is everywhere that I've heard it is just Gotye. But it's performed by Gotye and Kimbra. Released July 5th, 2011. Album is Making Mirrors, genre, art, pop, and alternative rock.
Art pop?
Art pop.
That's a new one.
You haven't heard of
I've
art
never
pop
heard
before?
art pop before.
If you watch the music video, I think you will have a visual representation of what art pop is.
Yes.
Yes. I think that's why I didn't even question it, because I've seen the video and I'm like, yep. Yep. That's art pop.
That is certainly art pop.
Written by Wally D. Backer. Three names, Wally, and then D-E, and then B-A-C-K-E-R. Wally D. Backer. D. Backer. Got to catch up my throat there. Studio. The Barn. Lucas, not like Brendan Brown's mom's basement.
No. It's Brendan Brown's barn.
Barn. It's just called The Barn. It says studio, The Barn. Lucas, I always want to say Tarantino when I read this in my notes. It's Taranto. Taranto. There you go. His lounge room.
Cool.
So whatever the heck it's called, I don't know. The Barn, the lounge room, Lucas something. Produced by Wally DeBacker.
Nice.
Label is 11 Universal and V2. So got a bunch of labels on there. Music video, there is a link in the sources to the music video. So the song, Somebody That I Used to Know, is performed by Gotye with vocals by Kimbra, and it's a collaboration between the two artists. I never knew that before. I didn't know it was like a duet, if you would. I just thought it was somebody in his band.
I think we're going to get into the legalities of the story behind the song and everything. And
I got a bunch.
Yeah, it has something. It's tied into that. We'll get into that later. I've never heard it Gotye with Kimbra. I think that's relatively new, because when it came out, it was just Gotye.
I don't even see it with Kimbra anywhere else. I put that in there.
I've seen it.
Does it say with Kimbra now when you look it up? Oh, okay.
I'm afraid to click. I don't want it to make noise.
That's all right.
Like I've got Gotye, Somebody That I Used to Know, featuring Kimbra official music video.
Oh, it says featuring Kimbra now.
Feet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, whenever they announce it on the radio, it's always Gotye.
Yes.
So unless you're going to be clicking around online and looking it up like that, which, hey, is fine. Look up your stuff on Spotify and YouTube and all that other stuff. But
absolutely.
Whenever I heard it on the radio, it was just Gotye. So the band, Gotye, Gotye's real name, I was going to read this, but I copied it and I sent it to Kyle. Go ahead and open your email. I want you to read it. I want you to read his real name. And I'm not making fun of his name. I'm just saying it's. I already told you guys it's Wally DeBacker, but then it has his like native language.
Wouter Andre Wally DeBacker.
I don't know how to pronounce the other one. It's got like a tiny U and then like an A that looks like it was in Stargate.
It's got an upside down. It's got a couple of upside down backwards E's.
I don't know. I'm not making fun of the guy. I just I don't have the tongue to pronounce a lot of English words, and you guys know that. Definitely not Italian words.
This is definitely not Italian. This looks Eastern European.
So we're going to say Wally.
Yeah, that's Wally.
We're just going to go with Wally.
Forward.
Wally is his real name. And Kimbra Lee Johnson. So Gotye.
That was hard to say. Kimbra Lee.
I like that one. That's fine. Uh-huh. So Gotye, the stage name for Wouter Wally DeBacker, is primarily a solo artist, but he's been involved with several bands and collaborations. One source that mentions, of course, this is the stuff I look up on Google. One source mentions DeBacker was a member of the band Downstairs, but they got clever with it. It's not downstairs, like stairs, like you walk down. It's downstairs, like stairs. I'm staring at you, and that's how it's spelled. It's downstairs. So, yeah, they got really clever with that. Downstairs, before going solo, he also worked with the band The Basics. Wikipedia mentions DeBacker and Lucas and some other of his friends that they were in Downstairs, but basically he's a solo artist. So, most notably is his collaboration with Kimbra. So, he was in a band, The Basics. That was, it said some of his friends. It's got his name here, Chris Schroeder. And that was live performances, whatever. Kimbra, the collaboration with her, she's a New Zealand singer. He worked with Francois. I'm going to say Francois, and then the last name, it starts with a T, ends with a Z. I don't know how to say it. He's the mixer and the engineer. And that's it. Besides that, he's listed everywhere as a solo artist. Those are all the names that I could find, all the bands and stuff. When you look up, like Lucas was the bassist, and he collaborated with some projects. So I don't even know if it was on this project. So Gotye is a solo artist.
Sounds, that tracks with what I know. The modern music industry is a lot different than it was even when we were younger, and especially different than the 70s. Like, when we looked at the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, we saw that there was a lot of flow in and out of the band with the guys with the horns and so on. But like with Chicago, that was a static group. It's gone even further in the other direction now, where, like, you might have Gotye or Taylor Swift or Luke Bryan or whoever, but nobody is permanent in the band anymore. I mean, even Nine Inch Nails is like that now. And
we've ran into that a couple times, and it surprised me because it was like rotating band members. And I'm like, isn't that just like a Marilyn Manson thing? I mean, but now it's not. That's the norm.
Yeah.
So Wouter Andre Wally DeBacker, we'll just say
Wally.
Wally. There you go, Wally. So that's him. And then Kimbra Lee Johnson, known mononymously as Kimbra. That's how it's said in the Google thing. It says Kimbra Lee Johnson, mononymously known as Kimbra. At that point, wouldn't you just say she's Kimbra?
I would think so.
So
the same way that you would say Cher or Madonna, she is Kimbra.
She's Kimbra, and that's why I ended up looking it up. I'm like, why did you have to say mononymously, like Slash or Sting, But then I looked it up, and it's actually, like Slash and Sting, those aren't mononymous names. Those are pseudonyms.
Yeah, those are nicknames.
Because Slash was Saul. Is it Saul Hudson?
Yeah.
And then I looked up Sting. I looked up Sting just today, and it was Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner.
Yeah, if I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going by Sting also. instead of good old Gordy.
But it's not a pseudonym. So it's just Kimbra. That's like her actual name. So I don't know why they had to make a big deal about mononymously known as Kimbra.
Because it's Google.
It's eccentric.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. But she's known for mixing pop and R&B and jazz and rock elements into different things. And, I listen to some of her stuff. It's somebody's taste.
That it is.
So I'm not saying she did a bad job at anything, but
Just not for you.
I watched, I think, two videos. So I got a taste of what she does. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. So here's a little more breakdown of the song. So Kimbra was a huge fan of Gotye, real name Wally. Actually, it's Wunter, but we're going to call him Wally. So, yeah, I'm not going to say Wunter anymore. I'm just going to go Wally.
Yeah, we're not going to go through the speech. His name's not every time you've said his name now, you've been like, we're not going to call him Wunter. We're going to call him Wally. And then 2 minutes later, we're not going to call him Wunter again.
So Kimbra was a huge fan of Gotye, real name Wally. They were introduced through a mutual producer, Francois. That Francois, I think I said him before. So they met through that producer, and they collaborated together, and they decided to make this song. So Kimbra performed songs at bars in Australia, and she did some stuff on her own, but Gotye actually, she was a fan, and then she reached out to Gotye, and then Gotye asked her to do the song. So they had a agreement that they were going to do this together. So the collaboration resulted in a massive global hit with Somebody That I Used to Know, becoming top-selling digital song, top streaming song. Everybody heard this song everywhere. It was played everywhere.
Yes, there are a lot of reasons for that, but my wife will absolutely not listen to this song anymore. We were in a little band, and I was like, hey, we should do this, because we had some like eclectic instruments in this group. We're like, hey, we should do, and on top of hearing it everywhere all the time, we were like intentionally listening to it more. So no, my wife will absolutely not listen to this song under any circumstances anymore.
Well, and not only was it played everywhere all the time, Gotye, real name Wally, he intentionally made it so that the beginning of the song would like drive memories or pull memories out of your brain. And what I mean by that is the song's xylophone melody at the beginning is a direct ripoff of Ba Ba Black Sheep.
Huh.
100%. So he did that intentionally to give it a familiar yet slightly melancholic feel. So the beginning of the song and the xylophone is Ba Ba Black Sheep. So you heard it everywhere, and it's the xylophone, and it's a memory from your childhood, intentionally designed so that you sparked that emotion and response as soon as the song started.
That's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Just wait until I tell you later the other stuff that he put in there.
I know.
So his intent was, straight from Gotye, real name Wally, he stated that he used the nursery rhyme melody as a starting point for the song, and it was a deliberate choice to evoke a specific emotional tone. Straight from Gotye, real name Wally. I'll stop, I swear. If you look at my notes, every single time I have Gotye on here, I have real name Wally after it. Every single time.
You're not going to stop.
I was having a blast writing this.
I'm sure you were.
Oh, so not only Ba Ba Black Sheep, but let's talk about the other sampling. I don't know all of these samplings that he used, but I swear, I know I've ripped on Olivia Rodrigo quite a few times since we did our episode, but you have my word, I will never rip on her again for sampling or interpolation.
Really?
Ever.
It's that bad, huh?
8 songs.
Woof.
Gotye sampled 8 songs in this one song. So he included Seville by Louis Bofana. I don't know what.
Yeah,
that
I
is.
don't know it either.
So that's one. Baba Black Sheep. Flute by Mellotron. Woke Up This Morning by Mexicali Brass. The Exodus song by Louis Bofana. So there's two for Louis. Memphis by Lonnie Mack. Puerto de Barranquilla. There we go. By Los Manchobos. There you go. Yeah, whatever that is. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's a great song. I don't have the dialect for that.
Right.
And then Ko Gano Voodoo by Chino. Nope, never heard of any of it. But it doesn't change the fact that he sampled or used interpolation on 8 different songs just to make this song. So when you think about the song and you're like, yeah, I've heard that song everywhere. Well, there's a reason why not only it was played everywhere, but there's a reason why it sticks in your brain is because there's 8 different songs that at some point in time, I'm sure we've heard pieces of each one of those songs somewhere, and they're all in this song.
Yikes.
So yeah, this was very deliberate.
Yikes. That is a lot. That's tough to wrap your head around. That and it's not like he's just pulling from like, you know, a piano riff from a Police song or something like that. He's intentionally pulling incredibly subconsciously recognizable music for this. That's wild.
It is, and you know what? He set out with a mission, and
he accomplished it.
Well, he accomplished it maybe a little too much. So, he didn't want to be famous, is what I'm seeing online.
Yeah,
it says he did not want to be famous. He started to feel the pressures that came with fame and certain personalities or follow-ups that he had to do, being a person that now had a huge hit, and he didn't like it. So he set out to make a huge hit, to make this masterpiece, to make it perfect, to make it stick in people's minds, and then it did, and he didn't like it. He didn't like being in the spotlight. And then, not only was he in the spotlight, but then all of these parody songs came out. Have you seen these?
I've seen a few.
There's a ton of them. I've got links in the episode.
Okay.
In the notes, all my sources are in there, and I've got like 4 or 5 that I found. There's a Star Wars one. There's the one where they're, you know, I guess she leans in and she belches in his face.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
But check them out. Check them out, and you'll see. But it drove him crazy. So he was uncomfortable with the fame, and then everybody started making fun of him, and he got self-conscious and then backed up and decided, you know, ultimately he ceased putting out music as a solo artist and then tried to focus back on the old band that he was in called The Basics.
Nice. He got back to basics.
How did I
not? He literally did that.
So, how did I miss that?
I don't know, man.
But it was huge. It was a major international hit. It topped the charts in Australia, USA, UK, 23 different countries. The song won 2 Grammy Awards in 2013, Best Pop, Best Duo. 2024, they released a remix of the song, but globally, somebody that I used to know has sold more than 13 million copies, becoming one of the best-selling digital singles ever. Commercially, it was a global success when it reached top charts in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States, 25 other charts, 30 countries. Yeah, I've got like 9 other things to say in here. I don't really... You get it? All right?
Yeah.
It's been streamed more than 2.3 billion times on Spotify.
Wow.
There you go. And then there's a laundry list of like The Voice and American Idol and Saturday Night Live and all sorts of different stuff that have... I'm not naming them all.
I remember very specifically that it was on a handful of Apple commercials as well. And it was just like every time you'd cut away from any kind of network television. Ding, 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 ding.
And it's that
ding.
xylophone.
Yes.
And that's why. Uh-huh. And it's Baba Black Sheep. I know. And if you play them side by side, it's exactly what it is.
I believe you.
I don't know how we didn't come up with it. Just like the back to basics. It just went right over my head. I don't know. But when I read it and then I listened to it, I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know how I missed that one. How everybody missed that one. So, have you had an opportunity to watch this video?
I have seen it a bazillion times. I'm aware of it.
I'm sure you did, but I have to ask you before I go into talking about the video.
Yeah, I've seen it several times. Having gone to art school as well as just generally listening to the song a million times. Yes, I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about the video. There's a link in the sources to the video. So just in a nutshell, there's a lot of really close face-up shots and naked singing.
Naked singing is a great way to describe. Just if you had to have 2 words to say, hey, describe that Gotye video. Naked singing.
Naked singing. A close-up. A close-up of Gotye, naked but flesh tone. That's how it starts. So a close-up, naked, flesh tone. They don't show anything that they're not supposed to show. So I'm not saying it's an adult video or anything. So it's him. He's naked, and then it flips to like a pencil drawing with lines on a canvas paper. And then back to him, like shoulders up, naked, singing, and then back to the paper. And as he's singing, the paper's getting filled in with these little like triangles and shapes that you see in like very base tone colors.
Right.
So during the chorus, shows up kind of, again, awkwardly close naked midriff shots.
Naked singing.
And naked singing. And then they start coloring the lines in, and they starts coloring little pieces of his body as he's singing. So I guess it's supposed to represent that he's like the puzzle pieces, and those are like the missing pieces or something. They're getting filled in, but it also like matches the background. Right. So as he's getting colored in, he's getting colored into the background, so it matches perfectly. So I don't know if he's supposed to be like a chameleon at that point in time.
Every time I've watched it, I've always thought of like the person that's painted the same as the wallpaper, like in comedies where they're trying to hide in the room.
Yes.
That's what I think of.
You
with
get
this
that
music
feel.
video.
Yeah, you definitely get that feel. So I don't know if he's trying, at this point in time, I don't know if, actually at any point in time, I don't know if he's blending in or if he's supposed to be fading out into the background, because this is the point in the song where you're supposed to feel sorry for him. And then he's matching the background, right? So I think that's what you're supposed to be doing, is feeling bad for him until the next verse, and then it pans out, and then Kimbra, she's matching the background. That's I remember what that looks like, and it's exactly what you're saying. It's like Ace Ventura style. She's like got one arm up, and then she starts to move. Yeah. So she turns and then starts calling him out for being a dick. And that's kind of the song in the video. There we go. Lyrics decoded. It's over. So, but that's the video.
15-minute episode, folks. Yay.
That's the video. There's I don't think it really adds a whole lot to the song, not for me. I mean, it was kind of cool if you think about it, like at the beginning he's fading into the background like you're supposed to feel sorry for him, and then she calls him out and you find out, whatever. But I don't want to go too much in the details without doing the lyrics or my assessment. I guess I can go into my assessment right now.
Well, the music video, I think that it might be like the last music video that we see where it's not just a zoom-in artist on a stage singing, or on it like with just lights, just really crappily thrown together music videos with a lot of high-end digital video production. I actually really like this video.
No charcoal barbecue wiener parties out in the desert.
No charcoal wiener barbecue parties, but I think that it's
check out our X's and O's episode.
Yeah, check it out. So but I like the video because it is an actual artistic interpretation of the song. There was effort there.
Yeah.
Other than just some chick spreading mayonnaise on a dude in the desert.
Again,
Check out the X's and O's.
X's and O's. I commend them for that. It was a good video. I'll you know what I mean. I liked it like the Sheryl Crow. They did a good job with the Sheryl Crow video.
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable music video. What was a closing time? That was a standard
same thing.
It's a standard video. We've run into some of these that are. I mean, we come back to Metallica quite often with that, and man, we love Metallica. We're not saying that we don't like Metallica, but come on, guys, their videos are.
It's either an entirely digitized thing where it's the lyrics in your face flashing, or it's just them on a stage. There's very little Metallica music videos where it's actual effort, but Gotye did. Good on you, Gotye. Real name Wally.
My assessment on this song, it's a little skewed. It's one-sided. When you see something for the first time in a certain way, it's really difficult to get that out of your head. So most of the time you guys hear that I think about songs in a very multi-layered way, but sometimes something gets stuck in my head and I pick up.
Yeah.
I like listening to the lyrics and the song in its entirety, but sometimes just the hook gets stuck in my head. And this is one of those songs where just the chorus, just the hook is what my brain picked up on. So a little bit after when this song came out, 2016, really, 15, 16, whatever, I was going through a breakup. And that's when this song was getting blasted everywhere,
God.
Right? So it was everywhere. So every time you turn on the radio, it's somebody that I used to know, and you hear all that, and then it's like, yeah, God dang it, No, yeah, don't get me wrong. It was it did. It sucked. Well, it was that, and it was that. What was that? Say something. I'm giving up on you. That song, they would play them like back to back, and it was like breakup hour on the radio. And
I mean, how many times were you just like driving along and thinking, I could clear that guardrail and drive right into that riverbed?
I remember very specifically, I was in Costco with my mom. I forget what we were buying. And then somebody that I used to know came on the radio, and I'm like, I can't even get away from this thing. It's on the overhead. And then followed directly up with that, say something, I'm giving up on you. And I'm like,
the world is out to get you. Costco wants you to walk over to the medication aisle and just start eating.
So that's what this song, this got stuck in my head. And then it would come on, and all I ever heard was like the chorus of it. I never really had an opportunity to listen to all of it, Mm-hmm. So I would always change the song. And I'm like, okay, it sounds all right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it. And then finally, I get an opportunity. I'm listening to the rest of the song, and then I hear the flip in it. But I don't want to talk about the flip in the song yet. We haven't talked about the lyrics, but we'll talk about it. And then once I listened to the entire lyrics, I was like, no, it didn't have anything to do with my situation. But that's when I really enjoyed this song. It flipped it around for me, and I really liked the way that this song wraps itself up at the end.
Yeah.
But as far as my assessment goes, I think it did a fantastic job of laying the groundwork. To me, you feel sorry for this poor guy who's been stabbed in the back by this terrible, terrible woman. And then we play out to the end of the song, and you figure out what's going on. And it really has a sort of a gasp moment where you're like, I can't believe this is what it was like the entire time. And it makes me smile at the end of the song.
Yeah.
But that's my assessment, and that's what I had. But this is one of those two songs that always, it seemed like they were playing those all the time, man. And they were always like back to back or one song apart. And it was like, can you guys just play something else? Followed up with Jumper. Sorry, I had to take a little drink of my energy drink here along with that one. So, all right. There's my assessment. You got anything else to add before we go into the lyrics?
Let's roll. Let's do it.
Okay, I've got the lyrics here now. So, the lyrics for somebody that I used to know, by Gotye, real name Wally, starts off with...
But we're going to stop doing the Wally thing.
We're going to stop doing the Wally thing. All right, I promise. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Uh-huh.
Now and then, I think of when we were together, like when you said you felt so happy you could die. Now, I'm going to stop right here.
Okay.
There was an assessment online that he broke it down right here at this line, and it says that this is proof that Gotye is an abuser in real life and that he wrote it into the song subliminally. That the idea of love is only fully realized in death. Thus, after reaching a certain point in the relationship, death would be the consummation of love between two individuals. Because if you take this line and it says, you have the lyrics in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Like when you said you felt so happy you could die. And then if you break that down to just you felt so happy you could die, then you break that down, so happy you could die. Then you break it down, you could die. And that's proof that he is an abuser in real life.
I think this guy heard this song more times than you did.
That's why I had to put it in here. I was like, I understand there's a way that you could diagnose people's language and the way that they word things and phrase things, but I'm like, this is a bit of a stretch, man. I mean, I think they really make a good point or do a good job in the song itself, just the way it's written, in him being a freaking jerk.
Well, I think what it is I've heard it said several times, you know, if I died right now, I'd be okay with that. You know, like this moment in my life is so perfect. I'm so happy that if it ended right here, it would be a fantastic ending. That's how I've always accepted that lyric right there.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't say this is being sung by Gotye. This is the male part of the song. Like, yeah, now and then when I think of when we were together, like when you said you felt so happy you could die.
Yeah.
To me, that it does sound aggressive right off the bat. Like, I'm throwing words back into your face.
I think that's
like,
the point.
Yeah. You're saying you're unhappy now, but I remember when you said you were super happy with me.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a me problem. So you could break this down in several different ways. So this guy that I saw that broke the whole song down like this. I did not do that. I left this little part right at the beginning just to tell you that I read every line in the way that he broke it. She, I don't remember who it was. They broke it down, but it was a whole, Google link into the Google verse that I had to read the entire thing, and it was quite a stretch, I think. But I wanted to at least add one of those lines in here. But anyway, moving on. Told myself that you were right for me, but felt so lonely in your company. But that was love, and it's an ache I still remember. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness, like resignation to the end, always the end. So when we found that we could not make sense, well, you said that we would still be friends, but I'll admit I was glad it was over. That whole first verse is very aggressive, I think.
Yes, it is.
So I think it does a good job. You know, I think at this point in time in the song, we're supposed to feel sorry for the male character. It seems we're supposed to feel like he's being overlooked or devalued or pushed into the background or dehumanized by his significant other. And he's trying to say, you know, we used to be happy. You said you were happy. And now, you know, you're not happy with it. And now we're just going to be friends. And
I've always kind of seen the first verse as he felt like the rug was yanked out from underneath him. Like he's portraying like, I don't know why you think that why you had such a problem. We were so happy together. What happened? It was just all of a sudden you just said, no, we're done. And I didn't understand. And now we can't even be friends anymore. Why? What happened? Why?
Until this last line. And he says,
Yeah.
but I'll admit that I was glad it was over.
Yeah.
And you know the exact kind of person I'm talking about,
Oh,
too,
yeah.
where they flip it right at the end and be like, I'm glad you're leaving. You know?
Yeah.
So, all right. And then we go into the chorus. But you didn't have to cut me off. And this is still Gotye singing. But you didn't have to
name
cut.
Wally.
Really?
You missed one.
Now I really do have to stop, don't I? But you didn't have to cut me off. Make out like it never happened and that we were nothing. And I don't even need your love. But you treat me like a stranger, and that feels so rough. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. Guess that I don't need that, though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. And that repeats 2 more times. Somebody that I used to know. Now that, yeah.
Somebody.
I know. So at this point, you're feeling bad for the guy. You know, you feel like he was in a relationship that he felt was stable, that he got the rug pulled out from underneath him. Not only is she leaving, but she's changing her number and having friends collect things instead of her coming over. And she really did him dirty, is the way that I think we're supposed to feel at this point in time. So then you move on, and Kimbra starts to sing. And she says, now and then I think of all the times you screwed me over, but had me believing it was always something that I'd done. But I don't want to live that way, reading into every word you say. You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know. So then we find out
She's immediately bitter.
Well, you find out the reason she broke it off is that he's cheating on her.
Yeah.
The level of hate that I immediately flipped to for this male character at this point in the song is indescribable. Because it makes me mad because I was like feeling for him. I'm like on the bro team, along with him. Screw her, and then you hear he was cheating on her the whole time.
Yes.
And if he's manipulating me, the listener of the song, like that, then he probably is manipulating her.
Yeah.
Maybe that first assessment is right.
Yeah, maybe.
I should have just listed that entire assessment for the... And then it goes into but you didn't have to cut me off, make it out like it never happened and we were nothing. And I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger and it feels so rough. No, you didn't. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records, then change your number. I guess that I don't need that, though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. And then we get the somebody, and then I used to know somebody. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Yeah, and then it does that back all the way down to the end.
Yeah.
So, it really is a great song. But we talked earlier about how it was scientifically designed in this way to manipulate you in the way that you feel. Between the music, the Baba Black Sheep, the sampling of 8 different songs that you may recognize, and then the intentionally written so that you sympathize with the male character and then flip you at the end. It's an emotional roller coaster.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah,
and
there's a reason why it was as big of a hit as it is.
Oh, absolutely. They knew at the concept level that they had something special, but the emotional manipulation in the writing of the song is really where the genius of it comes together, because you're right. You do feel sorry for this guy. You feel like you feel like he was tricked, or that he was duped, or that she's abusing him on the way out, or that she's doing something wrong. And then as it turns out, he's just a narcissistic dick who
Yes.
doesn't understand why she can't get over the fact that he was so awful in the relationship and just be his buddy. Like, yeah, I'd probably change my phone number too to get away from this asshole. Like, that's just... Send my friends to collect my records? I think I'd be sending a big guy named Jimbo or something like that.
Send the Teamsters over.
Hey, I heard you got some of Sally's records.
So
We're
let's
here
find
for
out.
Kimbra stuff. Kimbra, Sally, it don't matter. Give me your records.
Let's find out what Google says.
Oh, boy.
So, Google assessment. Somebody that I used to know is, in reality, I don't know why I put that, in reality, is, in reality, a description of a relationship where the male voice is the abusive party. Gotye places himself into the character of the male voice. He writes the song in a way in which you are expected to pity him and assume that he is the one being mistreated. This is because Gotye himself does not realize how entrenched he is within the abuse culture. The creation of this narrative of abuse was a conscious decision. That's Google's assessment of the song.
Wow, that's what the AI overlords have told us the song is about?
Yes.
Wow.
So we've heard Google go off the rails before, but I think whoever I looked up with that first like abusive culture definition, I think that they bled into this Google assessment. So I don't agree with the Google assessment. I do agree with the first half of it, but as we found out many times before, the first half is usually correct and then they derail.
Yes.
Google loses it at the end. They can never wrap it up tight.
I'm just imagining some programmer putting together the code for this, just sitting there with a cup of tea and crying, and he was an asshole.
It wasn't AI. It was that Sally that you had just said. So in interviews, Gotye states that the song is a collaboration of feelings from several failed relationships, and all packed into a single song. Therefore, all the feelings expressed within the song originate from within himself. However, he makes the conscious choice to ascribe certain pieces of thought and experience into two different characters that he creates with the narrative, the female voice and then the male voice. So Gotye himself takes on the role of the male voice, and then the vocalist Kimbra, she takes on the role of the female voice. It says here, though, however, because Kimbra was used as a throwaway addition to the song, and he didn't even originally pick her as his second choice vocalist, and he's rudely dismissive of her in interviews.
Well, I do know that they did want Katy Perry for this. That's why they made.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that's why she sound. Cause if you listen to Kimbra's other stuff, she doesn't really sound like that.
Huh? No,
Like,
she doesn't.
She sounds like Katy Perry.
I listened to 2 other songs of hers.
Yeah, 2 others, and she doesn't. But in this song, she sounds like Katy Perry. In the video, she looks like Katy Perry.
You're right.
Like-
I didn't even think about it. You're right, though.
Like, a lot of people thought it was Katy Perry. They went to a lot of lengths, and I'm kind of surprised that Katy Perry never sued over likeness rights and intellectual property rights as a result of this song, because they've been very vocal that they wanted Katy Perry for this. And Kimbra's like standing behind him just like, I'm just that chick, somebody that you used to know, who's like ironically
Real life play out of this song.
is being abused by Gotye in all of this, like, yeah, I really wanted that other girl. I don't know why you're being a turd about it.
So we touched on this earlier, and I have this section labeled, "Did this song ruin Gotye's life?" Because he does attribute this to ruining his career, his life. Yes, having a mega hit ruined his life.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was because he had such significant financial losses with the song. But you know why? And I think you know why. I don't know if everybody out there knows why exactly. Is we did touch on it earlier, but he turned off monetization for the song on YouTube. He refused to license it for commercials. he is the one who turned the valve off, so there was no flow of income for this. He
Yeah,
could
and
have
once you turn
been-
it off, you can't turn it back on.
No, he could have made multi-millions, tens of millions with this song. I can't believe he's not set for life, but he demonetized the song himself. So he says he prioritizes his passion for music and creative expression over fame, and that he didn't feel like fame and money was necessary for his music to be enjoyed. It was such a strange choice. You can have both. You know, we can all enjoy the song and you can make money on it.
So there was a massive gap for Pearl Jam between the Jeremy video and another actual produced video that involved them, other than just like live performances that had been recorded. And it's because Eddie Vedder hated the immediacy of the fame that came with the Jeremy video. But you know what Eddie Vedder didn't do? He didn't stop cashing the checks. Like, the bottom line is the reason
he
why
actively told Ticketmaster to stop taking their money.
Yes. And the reason why you monetize these things is so you can keep going. Like, the money has to come from something. If you have a top 40 hit, a number one hit like this song, and you're not taking money in from it, eventually you're gonna go back to flipping burgers because the money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I could not believe when I looked this up, I found out that he demonetized it. And you know what? I'm all for, you know, creative expression and passion and writing and love
Absolutely.
of the music. That's great. But if you got a chance to take a piece of the pie and you got a song that's that big and people want to throw that at you, take it. You don't have to spend it. You don't got to buy a bunch of rings and gold chains and wear them, all out in public. And you don't have to go buy a Ferrari. You know, you can just let it set in the bank.
Yeah.
You don't have to act like a rich person and flaunt a bunch of jewelry around and whatnot. Just let it flow in. Let it sit there and then still be humble and make music. You know, I if I'm mistaken, correct me, but I'm pretty sure Kurt Cobain still walked around with a like a stoner sweater on, just being comfortable playing an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
They were the richest guys out there at the time.
If you see pictures of Kurt Cobain wearing funky sunglasses, it's because he would just reach into her purse and grab a pair of sunglasses when he needed a pair. He didn't even own his own sunglasses. You can do that. Turning off the monetization doesn't make people stop using it. It doesn't make people stop playing it. It just means you're not getting paid for it.
You're making a lot of other people very rich.
Yes.
And you're not getting your own slice of it. Yes.
Yeah, real name Wally. You're a goon.
So he also blamed a lot of the parodies for ruining him. But
I don't buy that.
I don't buy it either, because if you hadn't seen the song or heard the song for some strange reason, if you caught one of the parodies, you probably looked up the original to find out what the real song was about.
Ask Weird Al how much it hurts people when they parody these songs.
No, that's there's a lot of them, guys. I got links in the sources for it.
We only have 5 of them in the sources.
So, but that's his story, and that's what he says.
Okay.
So, yeah, either way, you know what? I really enjoy the song. I don't know if there's a whole lot of other songs out there that get that flip on me.
Right.
Where you are truly passionate and feeling for the lead character, and then they flip it around and you hate that person so much with just one little verse by the other party, and they flip it around, and it's fun. It's a fun little roller coaster, and Like we talked about at the beginning, we didn't even realize the reason why we liked the instrumental as much as we did and why, we felt that as deeply as we do is because it's something that we heard since we were infants.
Yeah.
Ba Ba Black Sheep.
Yeah, like you crank up a mobile and that also plays music over a crib, there's a high likelihood that it's playing Ba Ba Black Sheep or ABCs.
Yep. So systematically designed to be a success. It was a huge success, and he turned off monetization.
Good job, real name Wally.
But that's it, Decoders. Somebody That I Used to Know by Gotye on Lyrics Decoded. A song that brings to a surface level the dangers of mental abuse and manipulation in a romantic relationship and how the victim may not always be the victim. They may be the abuser in disguise.
Wow.
And don't demonetize yourself if you have
Speaking of
2.3.
monetization, check out Patreon/Lyrics Decoded. We're not going to turn off that monetization, I promise you.
Oh, and they need to check you out on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
Music Minis Kyle.
Those videos are great. They're really growing, man.
And they're brief.
They are brief. One a day. We do one a week here on Lyrics Decoded and one a day for Kyle's Music Minis. And I'll be in there sometime.
Yeah.
I'm not in any of them yet, but I think we talked about it the other week that I'll be in it too.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but that's it. Thanks again, Decoders, and we will see you next week.
See you guys. All right, Decoders, that was Somebody That I Used to Know by Gotye, real name Wally. If you'd like to support us directly, you can find us at patreon.com/lyricsdecoded. Throw us a couple bucks a month. We'd really appreciate it. Helps keep the lights on around here. If you'd like to share our podcast, you can share it from any of the following places. We've got Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, Overcast, Castro, Castbox, Good Pods, True Fans, and anywhere else you can find a decent podcast. If you'd like to really support us, the best way to do that is word of mouth. Just tell people that we're here. Share us on your various social media accounts. Turn us up too loud in traffic. Turn us up too loud in your cubicle. Turn us up too loud at the family reunion. Just turn us up too loud. Let the whole wide world know we're here. It really, really does make a huge difference. As always, have a great week. We'll see you later at Lyrics Decoded.